Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so happy that you joined today. Now we're going to be talking about the Ouija board. If this scares you, you might, stay. You might learn something. Hang in there. Face your fears. Or you can go listen to some nice music. All right, the Ouija board. This is absolutely mind-boggling for a lot of people. Is it a tool of the devil? Or is it a harmless family game? Or is it a fascinating glimpse into the unconscious mind? So when the makers of the Ouija board asked the board what they should call it, the name Ouija came through. And they said, "What does that mean?" And the board replied, "Good luck." Okay, February 10th, 1891. This is when this board came out. Can you believe it? So there was a few advertisements appearing in papers. Ouija, the wonderful talking board, boomed a Pittsburgh toy and novelty shop describing a magical device that answered questions about the past, the present, the future with marvelous accuracy and promised a never-failing amusement and recreation for all classes. A link between the known and the unknown, the material and the immaterial. Another advertisement in the New York paper declared it interesting and mysterious and testified it was as proven at the patent office before it was allowed. Oh, the price is $1.50 back then. This mysterious talking board is basically sold in the board game aisles. A flat board with some letters of the alphabet and two semicircles that had 0 through 9, yes and no in the uppermost corners, and goodbye at the bottom, accompanied by a planchette, which was a teardrop-shaped device with a small window used to maneuver the board. The idea was that two or more people would sit around, place their fingertips on the planchette and pose a question, and then watch dumbfounded as the planchette moved from letter to letter, spelling out, seemingly on its own accord, the biggest, messages. The board could be cardboard rather than wood. The planchettes have gone to plastic, although, it's basically a board game. So this was from the 19th century, and it was, termed interesting and mysterious. So there's been a lot of stories about the Ouija board and how exactly it works. The Ouija historian Robert Murch has been researching the story of the board since 1992. He said no one really knows anything about its origins, which struck him as odd. For such an iconic thing that strikes both fear and wonder in the American culture, how can no one know where it came from? The Ouija board, in fact, came straight out of the 19th century obsession with spiritualism, the belief that the dead can communicate with the living. Spiritualism, which has been around for years in Europe, hit America hard in 1848 with the sudden prominence of the Fox sisters upstate New York. The Foxes claimed to receive messages from spirit who rapped on the walls to answer questions, recreating this feat of channeling in parlors across the state. Aided by the stories about celebrity sisters and other spiritualists, and in the new national press, spiritualism reached millions of adherents at its peak in the second half of the 19th century. Spiritualism worked for Americans. It was compatible with Christian dogma, meaning no one could hold a seance on Saturday night and have no qualms about going to church the next day. Oh, God, that's funny. It's an acceptable, even wholesome activity to contact spirits at seances through automatic writing, table turning, in which participants place their hands on a small table and watch it begin to shake and rattle. Believe it or not, I've done that, and that really did happen, and I went running from the building. My first experience scared the crap out of me because the table seemed to float, and I was like, okay, this is taking me past my comfort level. So I've actually done table tipping, and it's pretty interesting. I should actually purchase a table, do table tipping, and film it on YouTube so you guys could see what that looks like because it's pretty bizarre. Okay, getting back to this. The movement, oh, wow. Mary Todd Lincoln, the wife of the president, conducted seances in the White House after their 11-year-old son died of fever in 1862 during the Civil War. So that's very interesting. The Ouija board was marketed as a mystical oracle and family entertainment with a fun element. Okay. Communicating with the dead was common. It wasn't seen as bizarre or weird, explains Robert Murch. It's hard to imagine that now. Why are you opening the gates of hell? That's where a lot of people probably believe. So I am actually going to use the tarot cards to communicate about the board and possibly to the board. We're going to see where this goes. All right. So I'm going to, you know what I had to do for this video? Believe it or not, I had to buy a Ouija board. Yep, there it is. Here's the one that I found a picture of. And this is the one I bought. And this is actually wood. This is a wood one, believe it or not. And on the back of the box, here it is, a Ouija, mystifying oracle, right? And it's actually interesting, the advertising that they did on this. Will my parents let me go to the concert? And what should I wear? Does Tommy know I like him? And who told him? Will I pass my history test? What grade will I get? I mean, this is for school kids. Will I ever be tall enough to slam dunk? And how tall will I be? How does this Ouija board work? Whether you call it Ouija or Ouija, the board spells fun. Just ask it a question and wait to see what answer the mystical oracle will reveal to you. How to play. Sit with your opposite partner with the board between you and your fingers, lightly touching the messenger indicator, or planchette, as it's formally called. One of you asks a question, and then and then the indicator will begin to move and reveal the answer. All right. Will it give you a number or spell out an answer? Ooh, for decades, players have brought their questions to the Ouija board. Ouija, it's only a game, isn't it? That's a little creepy at the end. It's only a game, isn't it? We're going to find out. I've got my serious deck here, the universal weight. The planchette has like felt on the bottom, so it moves, I don't know, not the easiest, but yet it does slide. All right, so we're going to put the planchette off there. The idea, by the way, is you can see the letters. It'll pause on the letters, see it? That's why there's a window in the planchette. Okay, we're going to go to the tarot cards, though, and we're going to ask the question. What was the original purpose that this board was designed for? What was the original purpose that this board was designed for? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, now you guys know that wands are the spiritual, all right? Wands are the spiritual. They're the spirit. They're the fire element. Pentacles are earth. Cups are swords, which is the air and the thinking mind. Or cups are feelings and relationships. Swords are air and the thinking mind. Pentacles are like work and the earth. This is spirit. So this is to contact spirits and to not only contact spirits, but hone in on one spirit. One spirit. And here's a whole bunch of spirits wanting to come in. And the challenge is, can you get just one, right? Can you get just one to answer your question? And okay, so it was a spirit contacting board. The tarot cards are definitely putting that in there to give insights. The hermit is to shine the light on a situation. Now look he's holding a staff, and he's holding a wand, and he's holding a staff. We have now two cards where they're holding a tool. So it's a tool for spirit communication to gain insights and wisdom. That's what it originally was used for. That's interesting that the cards are doing that. And then the burdens came in. Okay, so what happened here, and we got another wand card, which is spirits, is too many spirits tried to infiltrate it. And possibly spirits that are struggling and negative. So these could be spirits that died a hard life and they're just not in a good mood. Let's just call it that. And so it takes a strong person to operate the board. And here we go, a sword in her hand, a tool in the hand, a tool in the hand, and then too many things here. But we've got some common themes here. And this is the Queen of Swords, so nobody gets through her, right? She's tough. She's like, if you're a negative or unloving spirit, no, you're not going to get into here. You can see the picture they drew pictures of like dark people with their hands going toward the planchette. We've got the moon and the sun, and what's over here? Oh, same picture. Oh, oh yeah, with a spirit looking over her shoulder. Oh, that picture right there says a spirit is coming down to communicate. So that's interesting that the cards actually validated that. And you do have to have some expertise of your thinking mind to use this board. So I don't know. Is this a good board for children to play games on? Well, if they're strong. So this means it could be if they're strong, if they have a strong mind already and they don't mind like a spirit coming in. Here's a spirit coming out of the cloud, and here's the swords to communicate. And so, that in itself isn't bad. But, with the king here, the king and the queen, it's like there's a certain amount of mastery involved in this. It's just not like, it makes me wonder if kids really wouldn't operate this very well. I have a feeling that most kids probably would not operate this very well. It takes a level of expertise with the king and the cups. All right. I'm going to ask the question now that's on everybody's mind. Is this board evil in any way? Is this board evil in any way? What I'll do here is just spread out my cards and just say, is this board in any way evil? Right here. Is it evil? This is the question you've all been waiting for. Do the drum roll. So this isn't a card about being evil, but this is about getting spirits that are off balance. You might have some this is rough seas and throw you off balance. So it's not evil, but it brings in spirits that are not maybe balanced, we could say, and their mental faculties are not there. So you could get some, somewhat creepy and unbalanced stuff happen with the board. All right. So that being said, is there anything people can do to prevent these spirits from coming in? What can you do to prevent those spirits from coming in? Angel, like a protection of an angel. Oh, that's interesting. So, and this is, you could call in only angels. Like you could say, I'm only going to call in spirits of love and light, and make that rule. And then when you get the two people together, it's only going to channel in spirits of love and light. That's interesting. What else do people have to know about playing with this Ouija board? That's up in the air. We don't even know. So it's a spiritual board. And part of it is we don't even know. The people who created it don't even know the full purpose of it. They don't even know yet what the purpose of this. I wonder if this board is still evolving. Is this board still evolving and what the purpose is? Well, the purpose is to gather people together, to have fun. I mean, that's ultimately, it was a board game. Wanted to have fun and also, communicate with spirits that maybe they miss. Could be loved ones who are passed. What else? I'm going to grab another deck. What do people have to know who are going to use this spirit board? What do people have to know who are going to use this spirit board? Oh, be happy. Call in only happy spirits, okay? So don't allow the negative to come in. And be aware that the negative could slip in. So this is like you can call in the happy, but this board still can draw in negative spirits. That's interesting. What do you do when you get a negative spirit slide in? What do you do then? What does someone do if they get a negative spirit? They got to be strong. They got to be strong. Probably kick them out with strength. Kick them out. So the board is meant to be happy because these two cards are happy, but unfortunately it does draw in some negative spirits. Any kind of spirit communication probably has the ability to do that. Is there anything I could do to the board? Like, let's say that I would write some kind of protection spell on the back of the board, would I be able to offer a protection that would completely stop all negative spirits from coming in? Could I do that? The spirits wouldn't be happy. The negative spirits wouldn't be happy. Well, so what? Fuck them. So the board is calling me foolish, or the card is saying that the board thinks I'm foolish. All right, I'm going to communicate with the board. The board is starting to talk now. The board is like, you fool, you fool. I'm like, oh, shit. Now it's going to talk to me. All right, so I'm going to ask the board. Now, I don't have two people here, so I'm going to put the energy. I'm going to tell the board, I'm going to put the energy that two people are on here. And I got to get myself seated so I can do this properly. I'm going to use one hand. I'm not going to use two. Just pretend it's one or two. And I'm going to just slide it. I'm going to ask to the Ouija board, do you feel like overall that you are evil, Ouija board? No, it went to. By the way, when I do divination stuff, I've done divination for so many years that if I get a hit on no, I just go to no. So, I'm not going to move like this and spell all that shit out. But I might. It might spell something out. Is the original creator of this board, does somebody know who that is? Yes. Okay, so somebody knows who the original creator of the board is. Is there, I'm not going to trust this board, I don't think. I'm going to put this up and ask a card. I'm not going to trust the board for some of these answers. I'm going to pull in the Witch's Tarot and ask, what does this board actually have a personality or a consciousness that's somehow in it? Does this board have a personality or a consciousness that's in it? I don't want to ask the board that. So it has like a powerful spirit. The Justice, it has a powerful spirit running through it. I got to ask another question. It doesn't want to be seen, though, the Two of Swords, that people don't see it. It doesn't want to be seen. So there's a hidden spirit in here. Is there any kind of spell that was put on this board? Like if people use it, is there any kind of curse or spell that was put on this board for people who use it? The Magician. So it's got, well, that could be a magic spell. All right, let's go with that. It's being honest. There could be a magic spell on it. What does a magic spell do? It's not a curse because it's a magician. It's not the devil. That would be a curse. It's a magician. What kind of spell? What kind of spell is in it? In the board. Three of Wands. So this is really a spirit communication board, and it has a magic quality built into it for spirit communication. I'm going to ask the board. I'm going to ask the board that I want the letters to spell out something, but I don't. Can you spell out something? F. E. I wonder why it's pausing all the time. A. F-E-A. R. Fear. Fear. So should people fear the board? Yes. I wonder why people should fear the board. Why is the intent to fear the board? H. E. L. L. Hell. Oh, hell. Hell. Like going to hell? Huh. Like, are you talking about the physical location of hell? Like there's a physical location of hell? No. Oh, okay. So if you're not talking about the physical location of hell, Then what are you talking about? S. What is that? P. S. P. I. R. Are you talking about spirits? Yes. Are you talking about, so if there's no hell, are you talking about spirits that, so are you talking about spirits that are E, V, of EVI, evil? Evil spirits. You're warning, the board is warning me about evil spirits? Yes. Geez, the cards never indicated that. Is there a way to stop evil spirits from coming into the board? Yes. How do you do that? S. P. Sp. What is that? E? Oh, S-P-E. S-P-E. A spell? Yes. Okay. Well, I don't get this. So now I'm all confused. Evil, hell, spirit. What are you talking about here? Fear. So there has. I don't know what to say with this. I'm confused. Ouija board, you are confusing me. Is there a spell is there a spell in the board? Yes. Is the spell evil? No. So should people feel comfortable using this board? Yes. S. T. R. E. S-T-R-E. Stren. S-T-R-E-N. G. String. Strength. Strength. Yes. Strength. People that are, do people need protection when they use this board? Yes. Okay. Strength, spells. I still don't get it about the spells. Okay, Ouija board, I'm going to stop communicating. I'm going to ask the boards. What is the board talking about? A spell. What is it talking about? A spell. I don't get what it means. We get pentacles. Those are in spells. And look at, he's got his hand on like a pentacle, which could be the board. That's weird. And the pad is for messages. And this is an 8, and 8s are for strength. In fact, the 8 in Major Arcana is the strength card. Okay, so you have to be a kind of a strong person to use this because the door could open and negative spirits could come in. So would there be a spell of protection to put on this board? Is that what you're saying, Ouija board? That a spell of protection should be put on the board? Yes. Okay. So if I put a spell of protection on, will I draw in negative spirits? No. Did the person who created the original Ouija board, were they like a psychic? Were they a medium? Yes. Okay. D O R I S. Doris. Doris. Is that somebody who maybe had something to do with the creation of this board? Yes, Doris. Okay. Doris. I'll have to research that. I don't even know if that's known. Is Doris happy with how this board turned out? No. No. Was the board manipulated by somebody? Yes. All right. I'm going to put the planchette up and I'm going to call in Doris or whoever the person who designed the Ouija board whoever designed the Ouija board, if it's Doris or somebody else, whoever designed this, what do you want to tell us about the Ouija board? What do you want to tell us about it? Four Pentacles. So this is always my card of spirit coming in and leaving pennies, like pennies as signs and gifts. It's like a gift. She wanted it to be a gift. She wanted the board to be a gift. For what? For teaching. Oh, it was supposed to originally be for teaching? So here's a wise student and here's somebody learning. So you were going to use, Doris, you were going to use this board as like for teaching people? For teaching them something? So many people can't see when we leave the planet. They can't. That's true, Doris, or whatever your name is. If your name is Doris, people can't see spirits once they leave the planet. People can't see. That's right. They can't see you once you leave the planet. So how were you gonna? Okay, we understand that when they're dead, they're invisible. You're right. They go into spirit. So what were you gonna do with that? So their chair is empty, and yet they're still by the chair. So the chair is empty, but now their spirit is behind the chair. Still, their spirit's still there. What fell? Oh, just some cards. No worries. I had some cards and my elbow hit them. So, yes, that's true. We can't see it. Oh, so she wanted to teach people how to do spirit communication. This is an angel. This is off the planet. You can't see. So she wanted to teach them to communicate with angels and things like that, loved ones and angels. Yes. From beyond the grave, the hand is sticking up out of the ground. The hand is sticking up out of the ground and offering, comfort to people from the other side. It was supposed to be a comfort board. So are you happy with how this board turned out then? The board doesn't think you are. She's happy if it's used to communicate with loved ones. If it's used to communicate, because this is the family card. If you communicate with family loved ones, she's happy. Okay. And then what? It allows you to peek through the veil. That's true. Through the veil. It allows to open up the veil and to talk to somebody. Okay. Thank you for that. So it was meant to be a happy board. It was meant to create happiness, that people were in a good place. They went to the light. They're peeking through the veil. You can talk to them. It was meant to be all happy. So the way the board is now, what do you think of it? The creator of the board or Doris? What do you think of the board the way it is right now and how it's used overall? There again, she's like, you have to know what you're doing. You have to be taught. The Emperor, you have to be taught the proper way to use the board. You don't just play it like a board game. This is her with the Emperor. You have to be, the card said this at the beginning. You have to know what you're doing. You have to be trained to use a board like this. Okay. So your average person getting it isn't trained, and that's why these negative spirits are coming in, and that's really bothering the person who created the board. All right. I understand that completely. So if people, is there any place where they can get the training on how to use the board? I mean, I know you're deceased, but is there anywhere that they can go to get training on how to use this board, the proper training, so to speak? This will be an interesting card. She's like, I'm dead, and it's like the material is lost. I'm dead, and I'm dead, and I don't have the training. Like, she dropped her sword, and she doesn't have the training. So can your average psychic that knows, how to protect themselves in that, can psychics use this board safely? Yes. Oh, look at that. She answered the card. Tarot readers and psychics. She's throwing tarot cards out, and it's justice. Yes. The people with psychic training and tarot cards and no divination can safely use the board. What's the worst thing that could happen from somebody who's not trained and uses the board? What's the worst thing that could happen to somebody who's not trained and uses the board? So she doesn't believe there's anything bad. So this is the Star card. So, you know, she's indicating that like nothing physically is gonna hurt you. There's nothing like, you're not gonna be possessed or anything like that. She's being very clear about that. Yeah, she's being very clear. So just wandering spirits that are earthbound. That's the worst thing that's going to happen to you, is you're going to get earthbound. Here she is, you know, walking on the earth, and you're communicating with somebody that's earthbound. That is like the worst thing that's going to happen. So, okay. That's interesting. So whoever created this, if your name is Doris, I just want to thank you. Goodbye. Oops, it flipped. Goodbye, Doris, or whatever. And I think the numbers are there for ages or years or timing or something like that. The numbers are there. So anyway, there you have it on the Ouija board. I don't really think that it's evil, but some people might, you know, use it for evil, I guess. Maybe you could call in some evil spirits. I don't know. But originally, it was a spirit communication board that was meant to have people be trained on how to use it. At least this is if you want to believe what the cards are telling you. So use your own caution when using one of these boards. And but I don't think we need to like fear it. I don't think we need to be afraid of it. But it's probably best not to be used as a child's toy. It's hard to believe they market it to 8 years old and up. But you know, I can think of like a lot worse things that people could do other than sit around spinning a planchette, right? So, all right. Thank you very much for listening. And if you have any comments about the Ouija board or you have experiences with it, please put them in the comments. I'm interested to hear what you think about it.